Good morning. So in Matthew 5:13, Jesus says of his church that we're to be the salt of the earth. If you've ever wondered what that means, I'd love to give you some context to what Jesus was saying in that passage. So in the first century, it was common practice for people when they would go on journey to carry with them pouches of salt. They did this because the salt was used for a myriad of reasons. Number one, they would use it as an ointment for when they got bruises or hurt. They'd put salt in the wound to heal it. Two, they would use it as a preservative because they didn't have modern technology, and so they didn't have refrigerators. They'd have to pack meat in it just so it could make a week's journey long. They would also use it for additive like we do, for flavoring their food. It was just used for many things. And so it was said that when people would be on journey and they would come across another person that they wanted to befriend or befriend a long-term friendship with, they would perform what they called a salt ceremony. And in that salt ceremony, they would make a covenant with one another. They would each be expected to take salt out of their own pouch and exchange it into their neighbors. And it said that at some point down the line, if they ever had a falling out and they wanted to break that friendship or break covenant, that law required that they would meet up in a central location. They would find a table, and upon said table, both members of that covenant who wanted to sever the covenant had to take out their pouch and empty all their salt, all of the pouch's property onto that table. And it was said that each member had to take back his or her own original contents, that they had to take back the salt that they originally exchanged into their other's pouch. Because this picture and this example would be impossible. It would be impossible for each member to take back his or her original property. It was a sign that covenants are always eternal. And I say that to say that we are a people whom God has entrusted to the world as His church and dwelt by His Spirit to love them, and He called us the salt. He's called us to preserve them and to come alongside them and nurture them, encourage them, and preserve by the truth a life from destruction and an eternity of separation from the Father. He's called us to love them like ointment. When they are hurting and they are bruised, we're to come alongside them, and our love and our exhortation, our encouragement, our compassion, our empathy should be like ointment to their wounds in a broken world. And we're to be an additive. We're to be something for them because the joy and the peace and contentment we have in Jesus by His Spirit should be something that adds spice to their life when everything around them seems dark and downtrodden. Jesus wasn't playing when He asked us as the salt of the earth to truly care for the world. And He said it doesn't matter if you disagree with Him. It doesn't matter if you come to a place where you want to devour the relationship. He said, my love for you and my relationship to you is based on an eternal covenant. And I've called you to love them just like I loved you. And that is for you to lay down your life for them and serve them and love them beyond condition and beyond disagreement. So today, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I think it's a good word for us to be reminded of the responsibility that Jesus left to us, His church. It's based on the way that He loved us and the responsibility that He has to keep us in Himself by His love. And so I want to encourage you today, whether you are struggling with the results of the world around us today, whether it be the election or coronavirus or just one of the other mishaps of 2020, let me just say, today you have Jesus to cling to. And as His church, others are looking to you. They're looking to cling to the hope that you have in Him to be expelled from your life. As the salt of the earth, you're responsible for them. So maybe we need to take our eyes off of ourselves and take our eyes off our own hurt and trust that He ministers to that so that we can become an accurate representation as we seek to minister to them. Today I want to encourage you. Place your eyes on Him and look at those He's entrusted to you. This week we're going to gather to worship the one who built a covenant with us that can't be broken. And that's going to be celebrated on the Mt Juliet campus at 10 o'clock. And on the Two Rivers campus, 10:45, we're going to worship the one who established an eternal covenant with us in sacrificial love. And he's called for us to love others sacrificially. So both the services will be online. We hope that you'll be either in person or online worshiping with us as we celebrate Jesus, the one who has entrusted us as the salt to the rest of the world. Love you. I'll see you Sunday.